The True Power of Facing Obstacles. Don T. Run from Challenges. Inspiring short story. Have you ever faced a challenge so big that it seemed impossible to move? What you do in that moment defines who you truly are. Once in a great kingdom, there lived a wise and visionary ruler who deeply believed the true power of any nation did not lie only in its soldiers, riches, or grand palaces, but in the determination of its people, their willingness to work hard, and their courage to stand firm when life became difficult. One day, the king decided to teach his sons an unforgettable lesson that no classroom or scholar could ever teach. Early in the morning, he ordered his guards to place a massive boulder right in the middle of the busiest road in the kingdom. "Put the stone there," he said calmly, "and let us see how my people respond when they meet a difficulty." The soldiers obeyed, placed the huge rock on the road, and quietly stepped aside. The king then took his sons up to a high balcony, from where they could watch everything that happened below. Soon, some of the wealthiest nobles of the kingdom came riding in their decorated carriages, followed by servants and guards. When their carriage stopped because of the boulder, they immediately began complaining loudly. "What kind of ruler allows his roads to remain blocked like this?" They cried angrily. They cursed, blamed the king, blamed fate, blamed everything except themselves. But none of them even thought of stepping out to push the rock away. Annoyed and frustrated, they simply turned their carriages around and chose another route. After some time, a few farmers passed by, wearied from a long day under the sun. When they saw the rock, they paused and muttered, "Maybe this is a sign from the heavens, perhaps a test." They whispered a short prayer, shook their heads, and walked on without trying to move the obstacle. Later, one of the kingdom's bravest knights rode by. Loyal, disciplined, and respected by all, he stopped his horse the moment he noticed the stone. Instead of removing it, he quickly raced to the palace to inform the king that the road was blocked. Though his intention was noble, he never considered that he himself could remove the danger. And so the day continued. People came and went. Some grumbled, some blamed destiny, some waited for someone else to step forward. Others simply ignored the responsibility and walked away as if the problem did not belong to them. Slowly the sky turned golden, the shadows grew longer, and evening crept across the land. Just when it seemed no one would take action, a simple laborer appeared. His clothes were dusty, his hands were rough, and fatigue showed on his face after hours of working in the fields. On his back he carried a heavy sack, and his shoulders bent under its weight. When he reached the boulder, he stopped, stared at it for a while, breathing deeply, and then said to himself, "If I leave this here, tomorrow many travelers will struggle. It is not only the king's duty to take care of the kingdom, we also must do our part." With that thought, he gently placed his heavy sack on the ground, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and positioned himself behind the massive stone. He pressed his hands against it and began to push with all his strength. His arms shook, his back ached, and sweat dripped down his face, but he refused to quit. He tried once, twice, again and again, until finally, with a final burst of effort, the stone rolled off the road and landed at the edge. The moment he stepped back to catch his breath, something surprising caught his eye. Where the rock had been resting, there was a small leather pouch. Curious, the farmer picked it up and opened it. Inside, gold coins sparkled like sunlight on water. He stood frozen, completely stunned. He looked around in disbelief, wondering if his eyes were tricking him. Just then, the king and his sons came down from the tower and approached the humble farmer. With a warm smile, the king said, "These coins are yours. You are the only person today who took responsibility into his own hands. You didn't complain, you didn't wait, you didn't blame. Others who acted, and that is the lesson I wanted my sons to learn." Turning to his sons, the king continued, "Remember this for the rest of your lives. Obstacles are not placed in your path to stop you. They are placed there to strengthen you. When you face them with courage, do not just clear the road for others, you build your own character, your own destiny, your own future." The princes watched silently, understanding every word without needing further explanation. The lesson they learned that day was more powerful than anything they could have read in books or heard in royal teachings. And so, the simple farmer walked away with gold in his pouch and pride in his heart, while the king's sons walked away with wisdom that would guide them for a lifetime. Remember, life will place boulders in your path. Don't wait. Don't blame, take action. Push forward and create your own destiny. If this story inspired you, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful lessons.